Welcome to the Satan Podcast here on the Monkey Caviar Podcast Network. I'm Tiny, your host. With me, as always, the great, the incomparable Adam Levy. Adam, how are you?
I am doing great, Mike. Cheers.
Cheers to you, sir. Welcome here. I'll hoist my Mountain Dew in your honor. I'm old. I wasn't here last week. I was in Charleston, South Carolina for the weekend.
How was your trip out there?
Let me tell you what, I got some interesting things happen.
Oh,
Since this podcast is really nobody watches it, I'm going to tell you all about it.
fair enough.
All right, so we went fishing in
Nice.
the Gulf of Charleston, right off of Fort Sumter, and
Cool.
yeah, it's really cool to do that. And my girl caught all the fish, all the big fish. I caught three little tiny ass. I had to throw them back fish.
Wow.
And she scored these big old 16-inch flounders that we ended up taking home.
Nice.
So she is not only the gatherer but the hunter of our relationship. I am strictly
a little bit
kept man.
emasculating.
Hey, it would be if I had any masculine left, but
Fair enough.
I'm pretty much a kept man at this point, so whatever.
Hey, could be worse.
But yeah, so that evening we went to a place called Home Team for barbecue, and I put up a post on Facebook of my.
I saw the picture of meat. Yes.
Oh man, it was a meat coma.
I can imagine. I've been there. I mean, no, well, not to that, but I mean, I've been in that position back when I used to travel for shows. I used to do an anime convention out in Dallas at Dallas Fort Worth Airport. And we stayed in this little, like nothing town, like a few miles outside of the airport. And there was this place called North Main Barbecue. And it was only open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. It was like $10, all you can eat. The only thing they served there was water, but you can bring your own alcohol. So we'd usually stop and pick up a couple sixers. And we'd sit down there and we'd just gorge ourselves on meat until we pretty much had to roll ourselves out the door. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Yeah.
So the following day, we went out to the island of Kiowa, which is where all the golf courses are in South Carolina.
Okay.
Including the Ocean course, which is a pretty famous course. They're doing the PGA Championship there in like 2021, and
nice.
It's right on the Atlantic. It's beautiful, and Kristen's sister happens to work there, so the whole place is like a resort. So there's like 6-7 golf courses on the island.
Jeez.
And Kristen's sister got engaged while we were there, which was very cool. We knew about it, she didn't, and so it was very, very cool thing. And her fiance got through his work got the honeymoon suite of the biggest hotel on the island.
Nice. So that's got to be pretty impressive.
It was a friggin' Oprah room, dude. It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it. It's you wake up and your view is the ocean, and it's a big king size bed and a 60-inch TV, and then there's another 60-inch TV in the living room, and then it's amazing.
I remember years ago, one of my friends got married in Vegas, and for one of his wedding gifts, like one of his cousins got him and his wife a suite at Caesars, and we all went up there to check out the suite, and it was like 3 separate rooms, like the big living area, the bathroom, and the bathroom itself was like the size of like smaller hotel rooms. It had a telephone in the bathroom. I don't know who you need to talk to while you're taking a shit, but just in case you do, it's there.
I don't either, but this 1-bedroom hotel suite was bigger than my house.
Yeah, that's usually the way it works.
It was enormous. So
and it probably cost as much as your house did too.
Oh well, it would be uncouth to ask how much it was, but
yeah, no, I'm sure.
The guaranteed we heard was about $3,000 a night.
Wow.
Yeah, so pretty impressive. Then for dinner we ate at the Ocean course in the Atlantic room, and it was really fun to watch parents fight over a check. So and we like to call it "Run It Up" weekend. Um, yeah, if they were going to argue over every check, we were just going to go crazy. So we did.
Yeah.
And it had a beautiful bone eye, ribeye. It was just heaven on a plate.
Nice. That sounds
lots of
good.
food. Got treated like a king, and then came back to reality and realized that I live in a condo, and that's what life is.
I mean, it's nice to have that fantasy every now and then, just to get spoiled and treated like that, just to see how the other half lives.
It was, and my girl, I gotta say, we vacation very well. Like
Yeah.
we do it once a year, but we do it in style, and we don't spare expense, and we just have a great time.
Hey,
So
that's all that matters, man.
that's right, and then we'll be paying for the next year, but that's fine. We'll do something else next year.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Enjoy yourselves.
I took my Fire Stick down there, and so I could watch Preacher, and I did manage to watch it while I was down there. It wasn't until I got home that my Fire Stick decided to not work. But so the episode before last week, since I wasn't here, we didn't talk about it. So let's talk a little bit of Hilter. Um, Hilter is misleading in that one. I thought it was Hitler all along, and it was Hilter.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too until I actually saw the title of my code. I'm like, Hilter. I'm like, I guess it makes sense.
I got it now. So he works at the Max Grinders.
Maxi Grinder. Maxi Grinder.
Yeah, that was good. And yeah,
so Hilter the sandwich artist.
And he was a sandwich artist. He would, if your kid wants extra avocado, he is the man to make that happen. So bring your fat kid to Maxi Grinders for the extra avocado sandwich.
And ask for David Hilter, Employee of the Month.
Employee of the Month, who gives wonderful motivational speech in the alley out back
to all the other people that work in the shopping center around him.
And what's good is they're gonna all come back to be a part of his plan, because he maps out on a napkin his new Third Reich, and his SS chief is Rick. So good job, Rick. Rick got a job. I'm not sure exactly where Rick works, but he works somewhere in the shopping center.
Yeah, I love that Hilter is sitting there planning out his new plan for world domination while working behind the counter at a sandwich shop, scribbling his notes on napkins.
All right, since nobody watches this, I'm going to tell an off-color joke. Folks, this is a racist joke, and I'm sorry, but for the purposes of what we're talking about here, it works. So this old man is in a bar in Buenos Aires, right? And he looks down at the end of the bar, and there's this old man who looks a lot like Adolf Hitler. So after a while, the guy bonies up his courage, and he walks over and he goes, "Excuse me, but has anyone ever told you that you look an awful lot like Hitler?" The guy goes, "Let me tell you something. Don't tell anybody. I am Hitler." He goes, "Son of a bitch. You're back." He's like, Yeah, I'm back." So you going to do the whole thing again? He goes, "Sir, we're going to do the whole Third Reich all over again, but we're going to change one thing this time." He goes, "Okay, what are you going to change? I got to know." This time, we're going to exterminate 20 million Jews and a circus clown." The guy goes, "Why are you going to kill a circus clown?" And Hitler looks at the bartender and he goes, "See? Nobody gives a fuck about the Jews." So, it's a good joke. It's an old joke, but
that's good.
And in Hitler's motivational speech in the alleyway was pretty much exactly that. You got to go. Final extermination is what he was going for.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was entertaining as shit. I mean, if you're gonna have Hitler in a show like this, you got to have him be Hitler,
right?
Like last season, when he was in hell, like he wasn't Hitler for most of that season. He was like this beaten down puppy. He was kind of kind of keeping his head down in hell, not to cause too much trouble. But as soon as he got out of hell, he's back to being Hitler.
Yeah, he's ready. He's back. He's tan. He's rested.
He's got a second chance. You never get a second chance to make a first impression, but you know what? Hitler's going to do it this time.
He's got a subway empire. He's going to take over from the strip mall to the streets.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
I mean, that's instead of the beer hall putsch, it's going to be the maxi grinder putsch. That's where it's all going to start.
It's kind of funny that they did this today when we had the Charlottesville thing, the anniversary just over the weekend, and there was supposed to be a big white supremacist lobby thing in the White House, and kind of fizzled out. I wonder what happened. The white supremacists can't organize, man. They got schedules. They just can't keep a schedule.
Maybe they couldn't get all their whites done properly.
Oh, because they're white supremacists. I get it.
Yeah, you get a stain on your robe, man. That's gonna look bad.
But if you were the Walmart in DC, wouldn't you have put the white sheets right near the front door?
Yeah, white sheets and tiki torches, man.
Pitchforks. Pitchforks, tiki torches, some Newsine rope, and
and the citronella fuel.
They got a manager of the year.
Yeah, the citronella fuel to keep those mosquitoes away while you're marching with your torches.
Right, sunscreen and mosquito spray. Let's not forget.
Good. But see, with it being as humid as it is down there, would it make sense to wear the full robes and hoods? You get pretty sweaty under that shit.
I can't believe that. Okay, down the road a piece from where I live, there's a place called Great Falls, which is allegedly a big KKK kind of town. And I want to go down there and see a rally or something just for the social oh my God, I want to watch it. That's why it's not. I don't support that. That's ridiculous. Those people are whack jobs.
Yes, they are. No one's ever accusing you of being a white supremacist. I have been accused of being one, though.
People are people. You're bald and kind of.
Exactly. That's it. This is years ago. I was in Orange County where I was at work one day and I was driving my work truck. I forget where I was going, but I pull up to a light and this other truck pulls up on my driver's side, and there's these two bald white guys in the truck, and the passenger looks at me and fucking Sig Heils, and I'm like, holy shit. This guy thinks I'm a fucking Nazi, and the light turned green. I fucking hit the gas and just peeled the fuck out. I have never been so weirded out in my life, man.
Yeah, you should live here, bro.
I know, but I mean, seriously, I've never had somebody look at me and just assume that I'm a fucking Nazi. Yeah, I'm a white guy with a shaved head. It's because I don't have any fucking hair. It's not because I believe in the power of the white supremacist.
Vin Diesel doesn't shave his head because he's a white supremacist. He's just bald.
Nobody's going to mistake Vin Diesel for a white supremacist. He's way too tan.
Well, he's got that Guido thing going. What is he? Is he the same thing as The Rock? I don't know.
No, Rock's Samoan. Vin Diesel, I'm not quite sure.
He's a human. That's what he is.
Exactly.
Damn you for giving him crap for the color of his skin.
Well, I'm just saying, when's the last time you saw a really tan white supremacist? Outside of Blazing Saddles.
Spike Lee joint coming up.
The Black Klansman, yeah.
Black Klansman, I heard is really good.
Damn it, Clarence! How many times have I told you to wash your hands after weekly cross burnings?
See, Preacher is taking us to places that it's wonderful, and that's why you gotta love Preacher.
I don't love the story most of the time, but the conversations it sparks between the two of us make it all worth it.
Well, there are things that happen in this show, and I'm going to skip ahead because this show has no rhyme or reason today. But when Grandma sits down with the devil to have a little chinwag, it's just that's only happened on this show that you're just like, yep, that's happening.
Yeah, and the fact that, the Grandma and the devil making a deal for something, years in the past about her being able to steal souls to stay alive, her being able to talk the devil into, killing Tulip and him having an interest in Genesis. I have no idea what the fuck is going on anymore.
No, they've taken it to whole new places. They did, like I said, clone Humperdew. Once I realized there was multiple Humperdew, the idea of a Humperdew army sprang into my head, and I was elated. I might even popped a boner.
I want to see an army of Humperdews marching down the street.
I want to see the Humperdew warehouse. Like, where do
Yeah,
you
I mean,
go
seriously,
for all your Humperdew needs? Humperdew.
well, I mean, seriously, if the Grail used some of this cloning technology for the benefit of mankind, I mean, fucking A, you know, you'd have like
clone
God,
Christina Hendricks. For
yeah,
God's sakes, clone Christina Hendricks. Give us all one.
yeah. I mean, you know, what was that horrible movie with Ewan McGregor and
All of them.
Scarlett Johansson?
Oh, The Island.
Yeah, The Island.
Yeah,
You know,
the
just do
Michael
something like
Bay
that, you
piece
know?
of shit. Here, you
Yeah,
want
it was a crap movie.
Want to know a fun fact about that movie?
The fact that Michael Bay told Scarlett Johansson he didn't want her to get naked. Yeah,
That's
fuck that man. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Bay.
You know, if Scarlett Johansson wants to get naked, you say, how soon can you do it and how quickly can I film it?
Yeah, you don't go like, no, don't take your clothes off because I'm going to spend the rest of my career making Transformers movies.
I mean, here's the exact opposite. So you've got Scarlett Johansson willing to get naked and Michael Bay saying no. Then you have the movie Swordfish where they say, hey, Halle Berry, would you mind getting naked because we think it might get more people to see this movie? And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, that because her nude scene served no purpose in that movie.
She got some extra coin for that, but
she did, yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, that's like
prime
the two sides of the same coin right there, you know.
That was prime time Scarlett. Now we're talking like 40-year-old Scarlett. And
I'd still pay to see her naked.
I know, me too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what else happened in that last episode?
In Hilter, we got Star showing up. Yeah, we got the Grail showing up at Angelville. You know, Hair Star wants to borrow Jesse.
Borrow him. Just let us take him out for a walk, and we'll fuck around. We'll give him Genesis back, and then we'll come back and they'll fucking kill you.
But of course, Grandma wants something in return. You know, she needs more souls. So Star's like, well, we've got the biggest soul collection in the world in Osaka, Japan.
Of course, because you know why? Because every Quentin Tarantino movie goes to Japan, and this might as well have been the closest to a Tarantino episode we're going to get. So, yep, send Japan. We'll do a little cut, triple screen. It'll look just like a Brian De Palma film, which looks just like a Tarantino film.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was the whole Osaka bit was fun. I mean, them teaching that the human resources class teaching the sexual harassment seminars. You know, just like that's
Jody how important the Hilter episode is. We've already jumped to the other one.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
that's it. That's all they did was like, okay, you're going to Osaka. Done.
Yeah, they set up this episode.
Right.
But like Jody,
you're right. It was super fun.
Like Jody reading that horrible script, you know, just like that horrible reading.
I thought it was really good. I thought his acting was on point. I thought it was nice.
Yeah, no, it was fun as shit. Don't get me wrong. You know, and then when Tulip gets to role play with the boss, you know, like she was, you know, laying it on thick. I mean that whole like her whole thing was just fucking hilarious.
There was
and like
a bit in
his genuine reaction, like, I'm sorry, I'm married. And she's like, I don't care.
There was a bit in Hilter that I thought was really amusing. When Jesse says goodbye to Tulip and they do this big passionate kiss and it's all romance and watch your back. Yeah, you watch yours. And Featherstone turns to Hair Star. She's like, watch your back. And he's like, what?
Well, I mean,
she's like, she goes, I'll call you when we land. Why?
Yeah. And that rings very true to the comic book, you know, because
that was a super, super Easter egg for the comic book people.
Yeah, because in the comic book, Featherstone is in love with Star, and Star could give a shit about her outside of, you know, her serving her purpose for the Grail.
Well, that part of it they have nailed down because he does not give a shit about her.
He doesn't give a shit about anybody.
Even less about Hoover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, that's very true to the book because he hated Hoover in the book because Hoover got him ass raped.
I'm gonna say this: if a guy gets you ass raped, you're not gonna be friends again. It's just not.
No,
gonna happen.
I mean, and honestly, I'm surprised that, you know, Star should have killed Hoover for that. You know, no doubt about it. Like Hoover should have been dead long before Jesse got to him and told him to count grains of sand on the beach. You know, we should have never ever seen Hoover again.
I got friends mad at me for not helping clean an apartment. Like, let
Yeah.
alone did I get them ass raped. So
I mean, to be fair, Hoover doesn't have experience like procuring prostitutes, so and we did see that in the series. In the second season, Hoover did get Star ass raped
for fun.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
fun is different.
Well, no, like Star didn't want to get ass raped in the show. He wanted prostitutes, but Hoover screwed the pooch like he does because he's Hoover. But yeah, I mean, like Star's a much bigger pervert in the show than he was in the book. I mean, there were some sexual things in the book, but after getting ass raped, he was only able to get off by taking it from a strap on, getting pegged.
Poor Hair Star.
I mean, I want to see Hair Star suffer some of the same, scenarios that he happens in the book, because by the end of the series, Star is he's like the poor man's Darth Vader.
He was pretty much Darth Vader without the outfit, right? He's Anakin Skywalker, the demolished on the beach version.
Yeah, he was. He lost a leg, he lost an ear, he had the penis cut into his head, he lost his dick.
I mean, he was being played by Hayden Christensen.
I don't think anyone's being played by Hayden Christensen anymore.
Hayden Christensen as Hair Star. Fuck you, Seth Rogen. I'm gonna kill you.
Well, it's sad. You look at the actors from episode 1, and some of them have never gone on to do anything else ever again. Jake Lloyd quit acting after Star Wars.
As well he should. He was horrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't entirely his fault. He had a shit script to work off of.
Let's get into this, because we were going down a path before this episode started, and I want to get you back on it because it fires you up.
Fair enough. Let's go.
There's a lot of heat on Twitter about Ruby Rose being Batwoman, and Adam I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Having this.
I'm stoked that Ruby Rose is Batwoman. I mean, I think I don't have a lot of experience with her watching her stuff. I've seen her in a couple things. I know she's a badass. Like, if you saw John Wick 2, she kicked some ass in that movie. So the physical stunts for Batwoman, the fighting and things like that, Ruby Rose is perfect. The fact that we're getting a lesbian superhero. I mean, to be fair, female superheroes have been underrepresented in any medium. So the fact that they're doing a show, another TV show about a female superhero, great. Because we got Supergirl. That's fine. I like Supergirl. But we're getting another female superhero, a lesbian superhero, which is even fewer. There's almost no representation for that.
What network's doing it?
CW.
Ugh.
She's gonna show up in the Arrowverse crossover this year, and then
God damn it,
yeah. Well, we're gonna get Gotham City in the Arrowverse, and then after the crossover, there's talks of launching a new show for Batwoman.
Ugh.
I mean,
damn it. All right, here's the thing. All right,
I know you don't like the Arrowverse.
I have my heart set on Netflix for this one, or HBO or something. Like, if you're gonna give me Ruby Rose kissing girls, I want to see Ruby Rose kissing girls. And
I mean, the Arrowverse shows
Orange is the New Black.
While the Arrowverse shows have been suffering a little bit the last couple years, there's still some fun stuff they do. Last year's crossover, the Crisis on Earth X, with the Nazi versions of the superheroes, was fun. Okay. But I mean, to be fair, the CW has done justice to a lot of these characters, and we're getting to see characters that we would never really get to see, done well. We got Legion of Superheroes in Supergirl this last season. CW's bringing Constantine back, which is great because I was upset that the show didn't get renewed for NBC. Matt Ryan, who played Constantine, was amazing in the role. And when they brought him back a couple years ago on Arrow, and then had a couple appearances last season on Legends of Tomorrow, it was great. Then they find out they're going to cast him. He's going to be a regular for this season of Legends. I'm stoked because they do a good job of staying true to these characters.
All right.
So I have I have all faith that they're going to do justice to the Batwoman character. We've never seen a Batwoman character on TV, movie, television, cartoons, whatever. So it'll be interesting to see a Bat character represented in this universe, because They're never going to do Batman because the movies, he's a big character, you know, outside of that kind of stuff. So getting Batwoman is fine, you know. And the way things go these days with casting, you know, if they'd have cast a straight woman to play Batwoman, the internet would have exploded because Kate Kane is a lesbian.
It doesn't
You know?
matter who they cast. It doesn't
No, and
matter.
and I agree. And I agree. But, you know, with all the talk, you know, about representation, you know, casting Asian people to play Asian characters instead of whitewashing these characters out, you know, things like this. I totally understand, you know, if you wanted to find a lesbian actress to play this lesbian character, this is, you know, if you're going to represent this character, you should do it right. I get that. I'm totally on board with that. And, you know, but I'm saying, I'm not the kind of person that would have bitched about this, but, you know, the internet would have fucking exploded had they cast a straight woman to play this lesbian character. So they cast a lesbian and they cast a decent one. I'm fine with Ruby Rose playing Batwoman. But then this is where the fandom shit comes in and just drives me up the wall because now there's a whole Twitter campaign about recasting Batwoman because Kate Kane, the character, a fictional character, mind you, is Jewish. And Ruby Rose is not Jewish. So now the people are saying, well, okay, you've got a lesbian, but she should be a Jewish lesbian.
Sarah Silverman.
Is she a lesbian, though?
I don't know.
I mean, she was dating Jimmy Kimmel for a long time, so...
I would like to think she's a lesbian.
At best, bi.
All right. Well, Ruby Rose is fluid, so...
yeah.
Here's the thing. All right. And I'm with you 100% on this. The girls, she's perfectly capable of doing the role, and that's all that should really matter.
Exactly.
Whether she is straight in real life or gay in real life should have no bearing whatsoever on her accepting a role in a picture. You know, Chris Hemsworth does not have the powers of Thor.
Yeah, he's not Asgardian.
He really doesn't. Hugh Jackman's skeleton is not made of adamantium. It's not. It's just, these are facts, people.
Yeah, Tom Holland was not bitten by a radioactive spider.
He wasn't, and he was just cast to play the role.
But here's the thing.
McGuire did not get bitten by a spider either.
Here's the thing, though. Nobody's going to complain about a white person getting cast for a role, ever. Nobody's ever going to complain about a white person getting cast for a role.
Yeah,
because that's the state of the world. That's the state of affairs that we live in now.
But let's be fair. In this very show that we're doing a podcast on, we have a very white character that is played by a not white person.
And, you know, like you and I have never bitched about the fact that Ruth Negga is not white.
Right.
And I don't think I've read anybody complaining about this same thing. But then on the opposite side of the spectrum, there were people bitching about Idris Elba in Thor because when do you have a black Norseman? You know,
Idris Elba also tweeted that his name was Elba, Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Like he was going to play James Bond. If that dude gets James Bond, that would be the tightest, most flyest James Bond of all
Seriously, I would be interested in James Bond again if Idris Elba got cast.
100%, I would go see that film. I'd be like, this James Bond.
Well, here's the funny thing is, though, I mean, Idris Elba's been being talked about for years. A couple years ago, after one of the last Bond movies, they threw the idea out. And I don't know if it was Ian Fleming, if he's still alive, or somebody else really closely related to the Bond franchise, basically said something to the effect of, you know, you couldn't have an urban James Bond. Basically saying James Bond can't be black, which is bullshit.
Bullshit. Total bullshit.
Bullshit. Idris Elba would own that fucking role.
100%. 100%. And I'm down to see it.
Yeah. The other name they're talking about, too, is for the Bond movie is Henry Cavill. But again, do we need another white guy?
Yeah, isn't that just recasting the same? It is. It's the same character.
Yeah, I mean, well, and here's the thing, though, is you know you've got these people that say that James Bond isn't just a person, that is a code name. You know, so by that respect, you can have anybody be James Bond.
Right, I agree with that. It's Inspector Gadget. It's whatever. It's it's Doctor Who for that matter.
Exactly.
If you've had 16 doctors, some of them have happened to be African American and women.
Oh, yeah. We got a woman coming up. You know, great. This is a game changer right here.
Right. I'm glad. Super. So with your James Bonds, I think you can do that. And
totally.
But there's not. I wouldn't say there's that many characters that are that. I think you could do a Robin Hood with a female Robin. I think that's totally could be done. I think it should be. I think somebody should. If you're going to keep recycling, if you're going to fucking make Magnum PI, which I don't even want to talk about how upset I am about shows getting rebooted that don't deserve to come back to life.
Here's the thing about the Magnum PI thing that kind of pissed me off, because they talked about this for a while, and the original idea was that it wasn't going to be a reboot, it was going to be a continuation with Magnum's daughter, who was introduced at the end of the original series, that Tom Selleck had a daughter, and they were going to, she was going to be the character that they're basing the show on. And then they said, you know what, fuck it, we're just going to get, whoever this guy is, and, it'll be a whole new reboot.
And then a female Higgins.
Yeah.
Where's the uproar? Where is the uproar?
Yeah.
So, anyway. I don't want to see Murphy Brown again, because then, it'll be like 3 months before Candice Bergen says something on Twitter that gets her fired.
Oh, well, I don't know. Is Candice Bergen got a mouth like some other actresses do?
I don't know. Why don't they bring back good shows like BJ and the Bear? Like,
I want a fucking Love Boat remake, man.
Totally. Well, they do now. It's called Below Deck. Yeah, but no, I think the Love Boat would be awesome. I think it can totally.
We need a new Fantasy Island. You get Brad Williams to play. We get Brad Williams to play Tattoo.
Well, okay. I recently, and I mean recently, like this week, watched the Infinity War for the first time. So, Peter Dinklage as a giant was awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And luckily, no one.
I do think this was the movie. I didn't know where he was, and he showed up as a giant. I'm like, oh shit, this is great.
Nobody had spoiled that for me, so I was like very happy, and I was like, oh, all right, Peter Dinklage, and I was like, holy shit, he's a giant. Oh, that's fucking funny. And I was like, okay. So then I was like, well, why not? Like, why not make Peter Dinklage a giant? So I'm tired.
He's got a giant personality, so fuck it.
Peter Dinklage wants to play James Bond. He should be able to play James Bond as well.
Oh, dude, I'd fucking line up like weeks in advance to get to the first show to see Peter Dinklage's Bond.
Like, I wouldn't line up necessarily to see Peter Dinklage's Batman, but
no, he could be Batmite.
I mean, there are. I don't know if there's a superhero I could really go like, oh man, Imp ain't easy. But not
he could be Puck from Alpha Flight.
Just not being a small superhero, a little person. So
no, I mean, yeah, and
open your eyes to casting options and just let it happen, and don't be a hater on the internet. My God.
I mean, I'm sick of hearing all these stories about these actors and actresses that have to quit social media because of the fan backlash they get for a role they took. You know what? It's a fucking job.
They read it. That's because they read it. If you have fan backlash, don't read fucking Twitter. I mean, post what you want to post.
You can't get away from that kind of shit, though. Unfortunately, I mean, like Kelly Marie Tran having to quit Twitter. Daisy Ridley had to quit Twitter because of the shit over Star Wars. I mean, you get like Rian Johnson, the director. People fucking like it was right down the middle. People either loved or hated Last Jedi, and he got a shit ton of hate on Twitter over this movie. But you know what? He fucking laughs at it. He plays it off. He trolls right back. Right. But some of these people like Kelly Marie Tran took a lot of shit. Okay. She didn't do a goddamn thing wrong. She was, she played a role.
All Kelly Ann Tran has to do is just not read her Twitter comments. She can post whatever she wants to post. Just don't read the fucking comments.
Well, I don't spend any time on Twitter, so I don't know how it works unless you see all the shit people like directly post at you.
They can send it to you. They can at you. You get a notification in your mailbox. You don't have to read it.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're getting bombarded with hate messages, because I mean, it's just I hate the fact that the internet has and this has been the same. This has been true for the last 20 years or so. I mean, the fact that internet gives these people a voice to be dickheads and hide behind a computer screen and a fake name. And they can just sit there and talk shit about people without any kind of consequence.
Okay. And with that in mind, Kelly Ann Tran went into show business. She chose to be an actress. She chose to be a public performer. For that, you're going to get criticism.
Of course. But I mean,
thick-skinned enough to take the good with the bad. Like, people can be on Twitter telling you how great you are, too. and there were people telling her how great she was.
Yeah.
But she chose to focus on the people that were saying the bad things. Just don't fucking listen. That's all.
No,
It's
I mean,
Twitter. My God, it doesn't mean anything in the world.
Yeah, I mean, people are just fucking animals.
They are, and everybody has an opinion. And Kevin Smith was right. The internet has given them a voice that they can do it anonymously.
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna have trolls. You're gonna have fans.
I understand. You love something. You have a like. I love Star Wars. I have not given a shit about any of the casting decisions. They cast a female lead for this new trilogy. Great. You've got an African American character in this story. Awesome. I don't care as long as the story's good. That's all that matters to me. And that should be the important thing. That should be the takeaway here. And even still, like, when you have something that you love as much as whatever your fandom is, be it Star Wars or Doctor Who or Star Trek or James Bond
or Preacher,
you have to realize that this isn't yours. Preacher is not mine. The comic book, the TV show, it is not mine. It's a story that I love. That's all it is. And do I talk shit about the TV show? Yeah. But you know what? I'm not expecting Seth Rogen to listen to this and change the show because of what I feel about it. I'm not talking shit to Seth Rogen directly online saying, hey, you fucked up my favorite comic book, because I'm not that kind of a dickhead.
Even the things,
even if I did, he wouldn't have to listen to me.
Right. Even the things that we don't like about the show and the people that we don't like that are in it, you never hear us just, ramble on and on about hate. We don't tell people to go out on Twitter and lambaste them or lambast, whatever you want to say. Either way, either one's okay with me.
Yeah.
I just think that, hey, it's a different world now, and hate is an incredibly powerful thing, and people use it for stupidity. Like, what do you gain by, calling people names on Twitter or telling an actress that she was bad for a role? Or there's nothing, you get nothing out of it.
I mean, did you ever hear the story? This happened like a couple years ago, about this kind of an AI thing that they created to a Twitter account that was like run by like an artificial intelligence that was designed to be like an 18-year-old girl. And they had to shut it down after a day because based on what it interacted with in that day, she became like this raging racist, just like this hate mongering, Twitter bot because of all the shit that it read and was directed towards it. Like, I mean, this is the kind of world that we live in. I mean, and it's gotten worse, lately, but I mean, it's always been the case. There's always, that shit's always out there. You can never get away from it.
Right.
Unless you decide to cut yourself off from the grid and just live in a cabin in the mountains somewhere.
Right. I use Twitter daily. I love Twitter, but I have my Twitter set up so that the people I follow are specific to the things I like. So I get a lot of Big Brother stuff. I get a lot of Survivor stuff. A lot of the cosplay people that I hang out with through Comic-Con, stuff like that. So
and that's what it's designed for. That's really what it's designed for.
A networking tool. It is a social tool. So though I've blocked people that are whose politics lean a little too fucking right for me. And that happens. And I've had to unfollow some people on Facebook because same thing.
Yeah.
I can only take so much rhetoric, and then I shut it off.
So of course.
But a lot of the people I follow are people that do, social media for a living. They have Patreons, they have support, and they also have haters. And
of course.
They can either focus on the 5 bad people or celebrate the 100 great people that are supportive and love them.
Show me one person on social media that has gotten nothing but love.
Yeah,
there's nobody.
There's nobody.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't exist. And if you put yourself in a position of where the public's going to see you doing a performance of any kind, whether that be music or modeling or artwork or whatever, you're opening yourself up for criticism. You have to accept that. And especially if you do a movie, and a big movie, if they cast me in a Star Wars movie, first of all, super stoked I'm going to be in a Star Wars movie. Second, I'm happy that my Twitter haters are going to come at me because fuck you. I was in a Star Wars movie. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end. That's the end. You get to drop the mic on that. Like,
Yeah,
you
seriously.
were never in a Star Wars movie. Shut up.
I mean, did I love Rose's character in Star Wars? No. But do I hate Kelly Marie Tran? Not at all.
No, but if Kelly Marie Tran was getting trolled by Mark Hamill, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But that's not who's trolling her and telling her that she was bad in the role.
No, not at all.
It's some schmuck that lives down in Great Falls down the street from me. And and
living in his mom's basement, fucking can't get off the couch because he's just fucking lazy as shit.
Secretly has a thing for Asian girls, but there are no Asian girls here.
Yeah, I got a bad case of the yellow fever.
Yeah, so whatever. People take their shit out in weird ways. Are we ever going to get back to Preacher? It becomes the question of this podcast.
I think we've said our piece.
We are 40 minutes deep, and we've talked Preacher for 10 minutes.
That's all right, I think we've said our piece. I mean,
it's one of my favorite podcasts because we've actually just talked.
Yeah, I mean, this is good. I mean, we're getting shit off our chest. I mean, I said, I love the things that I love, but I'm not going to get pissed because somebody decides to do something that they want to do with it. That's the thing about Star Wars is the fact that, they gave J.J. Abrams a chance to do what he wanted to do with it, as long as it fit into the universe, and it was fine. And Rian Johnson came along and did something absolutely different. Like, people bitch that The Force Awakens was too much like the original trilogy. So they complained about that. Like, oh, it's too much like A New Hope. So Rian Johnson comes along and does something completely different. And they said, well, it's too different from what we know.
Right.
Well, what the fuck do you want? Do you want the same or do you want different? You can't have both.
See, you
can't have the same different thing.
I love the familiarity of The Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah, so did I.
New Hope, with the way it ran along A New Hope. I really dug that as a Star Wars fan. And as
the fact that you're getting
production. Like, it was certainly cool that after all this time to be brought back to that thing that I loved so much that brought me into it.
Yeah,
and it was
exactly. I mean,
all right there. They had to build your trilogy, and they built it the way they built the first trilogy, and that's beautiful building block to work with.
I mean, like prior to The Force Awakening, The Force Awakens coming out, like, I had kind of lost my taste for Star Wars. Like the prequel trilogy almost damn near ruined it for me. Like, I didn't
hate those. I didn't like the first one. I hate's a strong word, but I didn't like the Phantom Menace. I liked Attack of the Clones. I think Attack of the Clones was the best out of that bunch.
Like, I mean, there were great moments in the three prequels, but as far as holding up to the original trilogy, it was not good.
No.
And some of the stuff that Lucas did.
The original trilogy is on such a pedestal.
Well, of course it is. I mean, no, you're right. But I didn't think that the prequel trilogy held a candle to the original. I mean, I wasn't expecting that kind of greatness, but I was at least expecting to be entertained. And while I was entertained, I wasn't in love with the stuff. I expected a bit more, and what I got was just kind of preachy.
Okay.
It almost seemed like George Lucas took 3 movies to just kind of preach some of his ideals. And I don't know. It just didn't work for me. But I didn't. I wasn't going around bitching like the people like, oh, I wasn't on Twitter like cursing out Jake Lloyd for being a horrible Anakin Skywalker.
No,
I didn't blame him for it. I blamed the script.
Here's what you want to do. If you want to go after anybody for the prequels, you go after the man in charge.
You go after Lucas.
I'm going to say a very controversial statement here. George Lucas is a shitty filmmaker.
He is. He got lucky. George Lucas got lucky.
Lightning in a bottle. He made Star Wars. It was amazing. He followed it up with Empire, not directed by him.
Or written by him.
Way better.
He didn't even write it either. Lawrence Kasdan wrote the second one.
Yeah, way better. And then he comes back for the third and fucked that up.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't direct the third one either.
I thought he did.
Nope. No, he only wrote and directed 1, 2, 3, and 4.
All right. Well, we saw what 1, 2, and 3 got us, and It's not that great. The guy also was responsible for Howard the Duck, least we forget. So,
I mean, and I've even seen shit recently, like, there was a whole campaign recently about some fans trying to fund a complete remake of The Last Jedi. And I've also seen Twitter hashtags about, like, give Lucas Star Wars back. I'm like, why? Because he did such a great job with the last trilogy? No.
Horrible.
I mean,
all right.
I'm looking forward to seeing what J.J. Abrams says with 9. I really want to see what Rian Johnson's going to do with his own trilogy. I'm excited for what Benioff and Weiss are going to do with their own Star Wars movies. I mean, if Game of Thrones is any indication of what these guys can do, I want to see them fucking tackle the Star Wars universe.
Well, I want to see them finish the Game of Thrones universe first.
Well, it's not like they're like dragging their feet on. It's not like they're George R.R. Martin, like not putting out a book. They're filming 9 or the last season. The last season is pretty much done. But I'm really curious to see like what, like if they want to tackle some of the old lore, some of like the old Republic stuff, that could be some amazing storytelling.
Yeah, I dig that we're getting and unfortunately it's thanks to Disney, but we're getting more Star Wars because that's how Disney operates.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you just keep pumping it out.
We're getting a new animated series. We're getting a new live action series.
Right, and like I said, I loved Solo. I thought it was really fun.
So did I. I thought Solo was a blast.
Right, had a great time with it. It was all things to me because it was just like that Kessel Run, right?
Yeah, I mean, now did Solo need to be made? No,
100% no.
But did I enjoy it? I enjoyed the hell out of that movie.
Yeah,
Aiden Ehrenreich, maybe not the best actor, but he did a good job as playing Han Solo.
He nailed some mannerisms for sure.
He did. And Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. That was, I mean, I don't think you could have cast that better unless you cloned Billy D. Williams and got a young Billy D. Williams to play that part.
Like a clone of Humperdew.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we're back to Preacher.
Cloning takes us back to Preacher.
All right, so let's deal with this Jesse thing while we're at it. So yes. Jesse, Hairstar brings Jesse to kill the Allfather. That doesn't go so well, but he does.
Well, I mean, that elevator fight scene was pretty fun.
It was pretty fun, yeah. But then he shoots the Allfather in his bulbous gut, and
he shot him in the heart, man. But there was so much fat that the bullet couldn't penetrate.
Didn't get through, so he lives. So they strap him into the Genesis sucking machine.
Yes.
And
the fact that the Grail has a machine specifically designed to suck Genesis right out of Jesse.
Right? An unknown entity prior now.
Now this leads me to another question. Sure. How is it that because Jesse's missing a piece of his soul, he can't use Genesis, but it's still there? What is actually stopping Jesse from being able to use Genesis at this point?
He was once hypnotized at a circus as a young child.
That makes absolutely no sense. Like if the piece of soul they sucked out,
phrase, "You're a chicken."
If the piece of soul that the Grail sucked out had Genesis attached to it, that'd make sense in some way. But the fact that Genesis is still completely inside Jesse, but he can't use it at all, I don't get that. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Hey, those gloves didn't fit OJ, but he committed second-degree murder. So
second degree
things that don't make sense. All right, first degree.
First degree. I mean, so I don't know. Yeah, so the Grail has a machine specifically designed to suck out a celestial being,
right? That
pretty much nobody knows about except heaven.
Yeah,
and as far as we know, how does how does the Grail know all about this? The fact like in the comic books, I understand because Hairstar had that angel trapped in Masada that could answer all these questions. We don't know this. The Allfather seems to know an awful lot about what's going on, where he shouldn't have known a lot of this stuff. But
he is the Allfather.
He is, but Star was great at keeping secrets from people.
You're right. No. I'm not saying there's not holes in this story. There's plenty. But let's jump past the holes to the soul sucking machine.
That's some serious jumping.
I know it is. But hey, we're gonna jump even farther because once the soul sucking machine works, it sucks Genesis out and slaps it into whoever's standing in this room of containment, I guess you call it.
I guess,
and,
yeah.
So they wheel in, they walk in Humperdew, and we're like, all right, Humperdew. And Jesse says Humperdew, and the Higher Star smacks him, and he's like, All Father's like, where'd you hear that name? And he's like, Hairstar.
I loved the interaction between Jesse and Hairstar. As much as I don't like the idea that they seem to be buddies and kind of working together, the interaction between them is really fun.
It is super fun. And they seem to do that, and I'll give Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg very much credit for the relationships between characters in this show. Eugene and Hitler's relationship is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean they're creating relationships where there shouldn't be any, right, but they find a way to make it work.
Yeah,
in a way like
very cool.
I'd never expected to see like Star and Hitler or Star and Custer, kind of having this tenuous buddy relationship, but they do.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
kind of
entertaining.
Together. Yeah, it forces them to work together in this story that it didn't in the comic necessarily. So hey, it's fun. It's not my Preacher, but again,
no, exactly.
So the first Humperdew comes in, and the Genesis goes into him, and boom, he explodes just like grape.
And we're thinking, oh shit, there goes Humperdew. What's okay? There goes their plan for the Armageddon, because they don't have a Messiah to wheel out anymore.
No Messiah stew all over the window. Best part of the window, one
was
large
that windshield wiper.
Super awesome. So they scrape the Humperdew off the window, and let's try it again. Another Humperdew walks in.
Apparently the Grail has a serious cloning technology.
They have a clone warehouse full of Humperdews. Which, again, I just want to see it because, oh my God, how much fun is a room full of Humperdews just jerking off feverishly?
Fucking writing their name and shit on the walls.
Oh my God, it would be the greatest, funnest warehouse ever. It would smell awful. Cum, shit, and Humperdew's drool. Just,
God damn it. I'm going to be thinking about that all fucking night now.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put that cocktail. Imagine if McDonald's served that milkshake.
Jesus Christ.
That's all.
I think I tasted that beer the other night, though, too. So, I mean.
That's most microbrews.
I grabbed this beer from a brewery that I know that makes some decent stuff. And, I tell you, in my life, I think I've maybe, poured out 2 beers. I don't waste alcohol. Even if it's not, that great, I'll drink it. But it's got to be pretty fucking awful for me to actually pour it out. And a couple nights ago was the 3rd time in my life I've actually poured out a beer because I just could not fucking stand it. I
always think of Desperado. God, your beer tastes like piss. We know we piss in it. Pissworm Chongo, that's my brand.
Well, it was there was a line in the Preacher comic book in the first storyline when the FBI shows up in Annville investigating the massacre of the church, and the agent's it's like this. What's it with this coffee? It tastes like somebody came in it. And he's like, I got excited when I heard you were showing up.
See, that's a very Sheriff Root thing to say.
It wasn't Root. It was Root's boss that said that. But yeah, I mean,
I miss Sheriff Root.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So, anyways, they keep blowing up Humperdews. None of the Humperdews are going to take. So the scientist has devised a serum combining the DNA of specific.
I love the fact that
hold on. Let me finish this. Let me finish this. Just to create a perfect person that is a balance between good and evil. And that is why Genesis attached to Jesse, because he is the perfect balance of good and evil.
I love the fact that the Allfather is basically pulling the villain move, saying, "Hey, do you want me to explain my master plan to you?" And Jesse's like, "No, I don't give a shit." He's like, "Well, I'm gonna do it anyways."
Smack. Right.
Yeah.
He wants the monologue, and he's like, "Nah, I don't need it."
Yeah. But the idea that Genesis needed this perfect combination of good and bad is a bunch of horse shit. I think it's actually
they're making this up. Whatever, fine, whatever. Again, let go of the comic book. Let it go.
Yeah,
let it go.
I mean, I know.
just like Anna and Frozen, dude. Just let it go, let it go.
But yeah, I mean, this idea that there is this perfect combination of good and bad. I mean, I understand Genesis is the spawn of an angel and a demon, so there is a balance of good and bad in this joining, in this creation that was made. But to think that okay, this being needed something that matched its own like makeup of good and evil, to survive in this host is just it's a stretch. It really is.
That's fair. I thought the celebrity equivalent of the good evil combo is Dakota Johnson. Right, Melanie Griffith, fucking hot. She's a good actress. She's all right. I dig her. Don Johnson, he's a piece of shit. He's horrible in everything I've ever seen him in. Never liked him.
Dakota balance, Johnson,
it's her. Hey, yeah. 50 Shades of Grey, baby. I'm all down. I'll tie her up.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's sucked ass, but she's pretty hot.
Did you see him?
I saw the second one.
Did you really?
Yes.
All right. Dump that beer out now. You've lost it.
No, for some reason, this girl I was dating, she had a Fire Stick, and for some reason, she put that on one day, and I was like, okay, well, it's either this or go home, and I don't want to go home, so...
Did it lead to you at all tying her up and having your way with her?
Unfortunately, no, it did not.
Oh, what a waste.
I mean, I couldn't stop laughing through most of it because some of the shit was just so fucking stupid.
I've never watched them. I'm not sorry to say that.
No, I mean, trust me, like I felt bad after watching that movie.
If there's a shitty movie out there that I watch, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, I hear. Like, but I had no desire to see any of these 50 Shades movie, but my girlfriend at the time put it on. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, whatever. There's gonna be boobies, so I'll watch it.
And okay. And hey, I've watched movies for less good reasons. Like I watched The Embrace of the Vampire because I heard Alyssa Milano got naked in it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh wait, no, I bought on DVD.
Even better. Well, I mean, I sat through parts of like Brokeback Mountain to see Anne Hathaway get naked.
Sure, I get it. I've watched. You could have just watched Love and Other Drugs, but whatever.
Or there's that other movie. I can't remember what it's called. There's another movie. Havoc.
Love and Other Drugs. She is naked a lot.
Nice. Yeah, she gets naked in Havoc too.
Yeah, what's happened with that? See, all right. So I watched this weekend. We binge watched Orange Is the New Black's new season, and it was really good. I dug it. It was one of my favorite seasons so far of the show, and you kind of count on Orange Is the New Black for a little bit of booby here and there. However, this year, in particular, the shower scenes were not friendly, and the models they chose were, though I'm sure wonderful actresses and good people in their own right, beautiful souls, not the most fit.
Well, I mean, if you're going to represent, people in prison, you're going to have to deal with that kind of stuff. I mean, you can't have a prison populated with supermodels.
I understand, but when we had, Ruby Rose in there, we got her naked because, well, she's fucking hot.
Yeah.
So,
but then you get movies like About Schmidt where you get Kathy Bates naked, and you're like, nobody wants to see that.
And now the thing is, I'm just gonna pop a penis in the film for no good fucking reason. No, the last thing you want to see in a movie, and trust me,
is Kathy Bates naked.
No, it's a random nutsack. Like,
I love I'll agree with you on that for the most part, but you get things like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where like Jason Segel turns around and he's fucking butt naked.
Okay, that's funny, but
that's
still,
funny.
You only
I don't want to see his dick, but I don't want to see his dick, but you know what? It's the whole scene is funny.
But don't come back to it. Like that's
no.
Fine.
It's like Eurotrip, like when that nude beach when you like 800 guys like fucking running their dicks out. I did not need to see that.
I just watched the Eliza Schlesinger special on Netflix, and she talks about how unappealing the nutsack is. And she's absolutely right.
Oh no, I agree.
It's,
I don't want to look at my nutsack, and it's mine.
The male form naked, no matter how ripped you are, you could have a 12-pack of abs and pecs so big you need a bra. You're still got your fucking nutsack dangling like a wrinkled old man, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, I mean there is no way to make a nutsack look appealing.
Nobody, and if you're going in for nutsack surgery to make your nutsack pretty, oh my God, people, there's certain things you can't make pretty.
No, not at all. They're always going to look like, Waldorf and Statler from the Muppets,
Yes, and that's what they're supposed to.
Exactly. They're not supposed to look pretty.
I'm saying that men are not attractive naked, and that's just the way it is. Save it for the ladies.
That's right.
But let's make it the good-looking ones. And nobody wants to see me naked. I know that. They know that. My girlfriend knows that. I mean, I'm not a lights-on kind of guy.
Nobody wants to see me naked apparently either. So,
no, if I had the Ryan Reynolds, like I said, the old 12-pack and go to the gym 14 hours a day, I'd shoot myself in the fucking head because my life would be so boring. So,
yeah.
Not do that. Do we have any more thoughts on Preacher?
Yeah, there's 2 episodes left. I hope it gets better.
Well, I don't hope it gets better. I just hope it comes to a fine conclusion for this season.
Yeah, I mean they've got a few things. They've got a few things to wrap up. In 2 episodes, we've got Cassidy Nicarius.
Nicarius, who we'll touch on him killing other vampires to gain his power. His powers of flight and transmorphication. So my question becomes: if Cassidy kills him, does he get all that power?
I mean, unless it's like the Highlander. I mean,
there can be just one.
There can be just one. If Cassidy kills Icarius, I mean, if Cassidy drains Icarius, then yeah, in theory, Cassidy should probably gain all that power. But then do you want a godlike Cassidy, showing up in the series?
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I mean, look, if we're going to talk godlike, I mean, Infinity War Part 2, they're going to godlike bring back a bunch of characters they just wiped off the face of the earth.
So, yeah, totally.
So all those people are coming back. So yeah, why not give Cassidy godlike? I want to see Cassidy fly to Jesse's rescue. I think that would be cool.
That'd be funny.
That would be very funny. Like, and Jesse would freak out, like, how the fuck can you fly? Like, totally funny moment.
I was rereading
this. Go ahead.
I was rereading Preacher the last week or two, and I tell you, I heard Joseph Gilgan in my head every time I was reading Cassidy.
See, it used to be Tim Roth.
It did. But I hear that kind of like that voice of his, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I don't necessarily hear fucking Dominic Cooper or Ruth Negga for Juicy or Tulip, but I do kind of I do hear Joseph Gilgan in my head when I'm reading Cassidy.
I'm telling you, when I read Preacher, the first time I read Preacher, Jesse Custer's voice was Val Kilmer.
I'm okay with that.
In my head, Val Kilmer's voice came out of Jesse Custer, and I was fine with it. And my Tulip was always Christina Applegate, so that's just how it is in my head.
Yeah, I'm not upset with that.
Yeah, so like I said, it was Tim Roth is Cassidy. I will have a harder time. I'm going to buy them again. Like I said, I'm going to Comic-Con this weekend, and my goal is to pick up these 6 Preacher books I don't have.
The hardcovers?
No, I have the trades.
Oh, yeah, you're missing 6 trades. Okay, there was 10 trades.
There was
6 hardcovers.
9, and I had.
Was it 9 trades?
Yeah, it's 9. And
okay,
I had all 9, but I gave 6 of them to Mark Adams, and I believe they are in Portland. So
it's kind of far away.
Or I may have sold them before I moved from California, as I sold a whole box of comics.
Gotcha.
So anyways, I have 7, 8, and 9, so I need 1 through 6. So I'm going to buy them when I'm at Comic-Con this weekend because I have a little bit of extra scratch, and I figure it's going to run me about $100. So so I want to have those on hand because I want to reread them, and I can't. Digital comic book, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I hear you.
Need to hold on to them and sit on my toilet and enjoy them.
Nice, good
The
times.
way trade paperbacks are supposed to be enjoyed.
That's right.
With a big long shit.
That's what I do.
All right. Well, I don't have my my job at Seven Crown anymore to read comics. Me and Jason used to fucking read some comics in that store.
Nice.
We would take, like, on a regular Wednesday, we'd bring like 10 trades each.
Jesus.
And we just sit there all. Oh, it was a boring job. We were only busy like 4 months of the year, so the rest of the time we were
Jason Lithgow.
Yeah,
nice. I miss Jason.
And it was when I was at Casa Soprano, so we had the bookshelves full of trades.
Yeah.
So it would be like, all right, well, this week I'm going to go through Amazing Spider-Man, or this week I'm going to go through the new X-Men books. Yeah, so it was fun.
Nice.
So yeah, I want to reread Preacher because it, like I said, it was my big introduction, and I love it so much that I feel
it's a great book. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I should reread it like every 2 years or so. So
I usually at least once a year.
Yeah, once a year, really? That much?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I suppose I watch Star Wars that much. So. I know it's true though. There you go. What movies do you watch once a year? Like, do you have movies that?
Well, I've got like my Christmas. I've got like my Christmas movies that I watch.
Nah, that doesn't count. Like Christmas Story doesn't count. Everybody watches Christmas.
Well, no,
Story once a year.
like I don't. Well, Christmas Story isn't on that list, but like as far as like things I watch at least once a year, like when Christmas comes around, like I've got like my 3 or 4 Christmas movies that I must watch every year.
All right.
So, Scrooged.
Sure.
The Ref.
Okay.
Love Actually and Die Hard.
Oh, Die Hard, I understand. Love Actually, pussy.
Hey, you know what? I'm a sucker for a good rom-com.
You're a sucker for Weenie Rick.
Yeah. Well, it's got Keira Knightley in it. She's looking kind of tasty.
Yeah. Okay. So Fear the Walking Dead came back, and my Fire Stick acted up, so I haven't watched it yet. So I have no update on that, but I'm sure I will next week. But that means we're 1 week closer to the return of The Walking Dead.
October 7th.
Our beloved Where's Carl podcast will be back to talk about Rick's finale year.
Rick and Maggie.
Yeah, it's going to be Michonne too. Trust.
You think?
Gone. I do. I think this is the end of our Walking Dead as we know it. And you know what? 9 seasons is a good long run. And
yeah, I mean, a lot of shows don't ever make it that far.
Right. And a lot of good shows don't make it that far. Hell, Chuck was a great show.
Didn't
make it that far.
I'm still hoping for a revival.
Hey, they're remaking everything. Bringing back the Buy More is not the worst thing they could do.
No, I'd love to see another season of Chuck. I mean, a lot of these shows they brought back, there's a handful of shows that I was excited for them to bring back that just didn't work out. They brought back Heroes for another season. Wasn't that great? They brought back 24 for another season. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. They brought back 24 for another season. Yeah, it was okay.
I'm going to defend Heroes Reborn because I kind of enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but but like that first season of Heroes was amazing, and that second season was pretty damn good. But then it kind of started going downhill, and it never ever really righted itself.
But that's look, we're not upset that the Heroes didn't end with a good finale because they just wrote it so poorly that we wanted it to go away.
Yeah.
That's what happened, and that's unfortunate for it, but it's true.
Yeah,
and
like I was excited for Heroes Reborn. I was really hoping that it was going to be great, but it wasn't that well received. I mean, the story was fine. It was nice to see some of those characters come back again. Sure. But the fact that they didn't get like hardly anybody from the original cast came back. There was only a handful of people.
No, Chuck is a show where you could bring back almost everybody.
Really quick, definitely.
And maybe Yvonne Strahovski, but you could bring back for a 1 season, a special op where they have to take off, Alexei Volkov's this or that. It would be just cool. Like, just
I'd love to see another season of Chuck.
That
I'd
would
love
be
to see
one of
that.
the ones.
I'd love to see another season of Scrubs.
I'd love to see
The original
a finishing
Scrubs.
season of Sopranos. Oh wait.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd love to see a good ending for All right. I can't. The Sopranos ended. It ended, and it's. I
it's
that's why I
over.
don't
It's done with.
complain about the ending to Lost. I don't complain about the ending to Dexter. I didn't complain about the ending to Breaking Bad.
Well, no, the ending to Breaking Bad was great. The ending to Dexter sucked.
Did it?
It did.
It left it open. I was happy with it.
Like as far as like show endings go, like I think the one that always sticks with me as being like one of the worst endings ever was Quantum Leap.
St. Elsewhere.
Never watched St. Elsewhere.
St. Elsewhere, it ended with it all taking place in the mind of an autistic boy's snow globe.
Okay, that sounds pretty fucking stupid.
Yep, pretty dumb.
But like the ending of Quantum Leap like pissed me off. I mean, that was just like a fucking cop out ending. They had a complete. They knew they were ending. They had a season to end the series, and they ended it on a giant fuck you to the fans.
Yeah, I agree. Not the best.
No.
But so few shows get their ending that you have to like.
Yeah,
I don't know that we're gonna get an official ending to Preacher.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's rough to say ratings wise. Don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to hope, but 6 seasons in a movie. Let that ring out across the land. 6 seasons in a movie.
Yes, for sure.
I'm still waiting for the Community movie, by the way.
I've heard talks that there might be one.
Well, all hope is renewed because there will be a Deadwood movie. Yes, sir.
Yes. Let's see. I never saw the last season of Community, the Yahoo season. I missed that one entirely.
That's not that bad. I mean,
I didn't have Yahoo streaming, so I couldn't watch their shit.
I hear you. We're still recording this, huh?
We are still recording.
This has been a long podcast that hasn't been about Preacher very much.
Pretty much no.
It's not our fault. It's not. It really isn't our fault. It was just not 2 good episodes of Preacher. And hopefully they're ramping up to what I thought was Schwarzkopf, but it's Schwanzkopf. Because now that Hilter has made me read everything, Schwanzkopf makes more sense because of a hair star may lose his schwanz. And that would be accurate to the story.
Yeah.
So perhaps we're gonna see the maybe Jesse will get Jesse's definitely getting Genesis back by the end of the season.
He's got to.
Just hopefully, yeah, they got to deal with Grandma by the end of this season and either put us back on the road or set us up for an ending that we're not going to get.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, they've got to do something because we can't end the show in Angelville, and I can't take another season of Angelville, Grandma, Jody, TC, because there really is nothing else to tell.
Right, it's over. Like, yeah, we get it.
It was over 2 episodes in.
Yeah. We could have. Well, I like the Tombs. I like that add-on. That was kind of cool, and they could have been done right there with the Tombs, yeah. But they stretched it out.
Yeah,
and they got their 10 episodes out of it. But this should be the end of Angelville for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, we're going to cut this podcast. I will be back next Monday night to talk about everything but the Preacher episode that we just watched. And you know what? I think, like I said, this has been one of my funnest podcasts we've done because
this has been good. I like this.
It just kind of went random, and that's what it should do. So
yeah, of course.
We could keep doing this once Preacher's off, and we'll start with the topic and just see where we go, and then we'll at the end be like, "This is
I'm
what
good with that.
Week is about." We have no idea what this podcast will be about. That's what the podcast is about.
I'm totally okay with that if you want to do that.
Yeah, we can keep going. The hockey season gets tough because you take a lot of Mondays off. But.
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't always have Monday games. They're usually kind of rare, but they happen. But
yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do something. All right, sir. Until next week, I will talk to you then. Everybody else, love many, trust few, and do harm to no one.